Good morning and welcome to the Knit Shift episode 102. My name is Laura and today is Thursday, February 8th, 2018. Thank you so much for joining me today, whether you are new to the Knit Shift or have stopped by before. I appreciate you choosing to spend a little bit of your day with me. I am Laura. I am a journalist in Washington, D.C. I live in Northern Virginia with my dog Gracie and my boyfriend Josh and a whole lot of yarn. And this is a podcast about my life and knitting and working the knit shift. The night shift. But of course that's where the knit shift gets its name. Clearly I probably need some caffeine this morning. Thank you for joining me today. Show notes can be found at theknitshift.com. This podcast is available on iTunes and YouTube and will be embedded at the blog. We have a group for the podcast over on Ravelry. If you go to the groups tab and search for the Knit Shift, you will find us. I am on Ravelry as Yarnstormer, and I am on Instagram as Laura Mahalski, so please do friend me and follow me in both of those platforms. I would love it if you did. So it's been about 2.5 weeks since I last recorded. I was gonna record this past weekend, but things got away from me. I had a really bad illness and just was not feeling up to it, and I won't bore you with the details about that now. But I'm back. Today is Thursday and it is my Friday. I moved to Friday, Saturday weekend several weeks ago, which I'm thrilled about because now I have a day off in common with Josh. And while he's pretty busy because he's an accountant and it's ramping up to March 15th and April 15th, which are two big tax deadlines in the business and personal world, I won't see a ton of them on Saturdays, but just being able to go out on a Saturday night if we want to is pretty sweet. So yeah, so that's what I've been up to around here. I have several works in progress to share with you this week and a little bit of future knitting to talk about. And at the end, we're gonna have a little bit of a lipstick chat because it's been a little while and I know people like to talk when I talk about lipstick, so we will get there in a bit. I'm working on a deadline today, which is, nothing I'm not used to. I have laundry in the dryer and I have 18 minutes till I have to go get it. So while I'm not timing myself, I will probably have to take a little breather here, and through the magic of editing, you guys won't have to sit and wait for me to go through that door over there to get to the laundry room. So let's get to the knitting, shall we? So this is my birthday sock. I've got about 1.5 of them done. This is Miss Babs Caroline, which is a 70% merino, 20% cashmere, 10% nylon yarn, and it's luscious with that much cashmere in it. And this is the colorway Rhinebeck 2017. I picked this up at Rhinebeck, and so it was an exclusive colorway there. I love it. I love how these are working up. Not getting a ton of pooling. I like that they're just kind of variegated and wild. I knit these my standard recipe. I knit them toe up, Judy's Magic Cast On, knit up the foot, did a Fish Lips Kiss heel, and carried on up the leg and did a 2x2 rib. And I have started the second one. I'm knitting these on a size 0. And last night on the train, I started doing the Fish Lips Kiss heel, and I just kind of stopped where I was because I had to get off the train and come home. So I wanted to have these done by my birthday, which is this coming Sunday. I am cautiously optimistic I might be able to pull it off because I did not knit the leg super tall. Like, this is all that, everything from here over is the leg of the sock, and I might be able to pull it off. We'll see. So I'm gonna try and finish this heel turn before I get on the train to work today, and then I will be able to knock out quite a bit of the leg going to and from work on the train. So we will see. And here it is in the cake. And I am carrying this in a Bink Waffle little sock bag. It's made out of thicker, like canvas style material, and I really like it. And I have my pin on it that says "Through with People," which I kind of love. So that is my first whip. Honestly, I would have had those socks done by now if it weren't for two things: getting sick and having to stop and knit myself half of a sock for a class I'm taking tomorrow at my local yarn store. So I am taking the, I don't remember the name of the class, but it is about the, why can't I think of the name of the sock right now? Smooth operator socks, there we go. So I wanted to learn this afterthought heel for some time, and I'm really bad at regular afterthought heels, and when I saw she was coming to town and it was the weekend of my birthday, I was like, you know what? I don't work Fridays anymore, I'm gonna take this class. So that's what I did. So I had to knit half a sock as a bit of homework. So I was a lazy bum and only knit a really short sock. I had to do it from the cuff down. I've not knit a cuff down sock in, well, it's been years, but probably 5 years. And you know, it's still not my favorite. I much prefer toe up. So, and it is kind of nice to throw it back because I learned to knit socks cuff down, as so many of us do, but it just was not my favorite thing. So these are going to be little footy socks. That way, if I don't love them, I have not invested a ton of time in them. You know, we'll see how I feel about the Smooth Operator sock. So this is Spun Right Round 80/20 superwash sock in the colorway Dreamcatcher, which is a skein of yarn that I picked up after Maryland Sheep and Wool, either 2015 or 2016, maybe even 2014. I went with my buddy Kate and Amanda, who Kate has the Stitch Addiction podcast, although I think it's on hiatus, and Amanda has the is the Diary Behind Lammy Toes and has not a podcast. And so we had a really nice time going to Sheep and Wool, and we went to a trunk show at a yarn store in Frederick, Maryland called The Knot House, and this is where I got this skein of yarn. So I am happy to be knitting with this because I really enjoy this yarn and the memories of it. So I had to knit half of this sock, and this is a new sock needle I picked up in the past week or two. This is an Addi Sock Rocket, and it's a size 0, and I really enjoyed knitting with it. Points are sharp without being too sharp. They're a little, they're not quite as long. The taper is not quite as long as I would like. Let's see if this will focus. I usually like my tapers a little bit longer, but you know, this is perfectly fine. And here it is in the cake. I had used part of this for a shawl I was knitting and then kind of wound it back up. And so for the class, I just got lazy and said, I am just gonna use the closest thing at hand, and this was it. So that's what I did. And I am carrying this in my Mrs. Brown's little zipper, perfect for a sock or a little shawl project. And finally, my last work in progress is something I shared with you last time around and said I was thinking about frogging it and I didn't know what to do, and I wanted to give you guys an update on it. So as it turns out, when you're debating whether or not to frog a project, you should look at the shawl or look at the pattern, look at the photos of it, see if you're getting to a point where you feel like, okay, I can roll with this. Okay, this is getting to a part where I'm not gonna have to think about the lace as much. I'm gonna stick with it and do a few more rows and see how I feel about this new section, because that's what I did with the shawl, and now I'm back in enjoying it. So let me show you what I mean about the photo stuff. I was in the middle of this lace. Now this is the Sprite Spend shawl by Helen Stewart. I was kind of in the weeds with this lace stuff because there was lace up here and a little bit of stockinette, lace here, and I was just kind of over it. Turns out I just had to get to this point and now I'm enjoying it again. So I'm back to stockinette. So I'm on this part of the shawl. I'm on the the garter, and I'm gonna get to the eyelets soon, and then there's a little more lace and then you're done. So I'm gonna stick with it. Let me tell you, she puts percentages on her shawls, so I'm about 35, almost 30% done with this shawl. So I am back to enjoying it. I'm still on the first skein of yarn, of course, because I am pretty still new in it, but I've just increased to like 270 stitches, so it's really nice and big. So it's hard because this cable is a little bit curly, but here is my Sprite Spend shawl. Put this the right way. And yeah, I am happy with it. I'm eager to have a nice neutral shawl. That's really what's keeping me going too. I really do want a neutral shawl that I can wear with just about anything. So since I last talked to you, I was like right about here in the lace, and I've since done probably 15, 20 more rows all the way down here. So I am enjoying this very much. This is Yarn on the House, Yoth Yarns little brother. And this is the, it's an 80-10-10 superwash merino cashmere nylon base, and it's the colorway Shiitake. Okay, Gracie, thank you. And I'm carrying this in my Nikozuki Knits project bag, which is basically the perfect size for a shawl. And that is it for my works in progress. I have one future bit of knitting to talk with you about today, and that is a Ravellinx project. I have never done a Ravellinx project, and if you don't know what it is a it's a thing on Ravelry. I don't know how it started or where it started. I'll get some of the details wrong. As a copy editor, I feel like I always have to do that caveat because I'm afraid I'll get some of the details wrong. Okay, Gracie, thank you very much for sniffing at the door. We all hear you. The squirrels hear you. They know you're vicious. Gracie's getting her hair cut tomorrow, and it's been about 6 months. She is so shaggy. It's ridiculous, and I'm so ready for her to not be shedding fur everywhere. So the Ravellinx is a, it's as if it's a knitting Olympics. You try to do a project from the opening ceremonies through the closing ceremonies. It could be a chance to try a technique you've never tried before. It could be finishing a long dormant work in progress. But if you're starting a new project, my understanding is you start it at the opening ceremonies and try and finish by the closing ceremonies. I'm going to try to knit a fingering weight sweater in 16 days. I know, this is crazy. It's bonkers. But I feel like if I desperately want to knit a sweater. I keep putting it off, and this is the motivation or the impetus I need to get it going. And even if I only knit the body or most of the body in 16 days, that is more sweater done than before the Olympics. So that's my goal. So I swatched for the sweater. This is something else that took me away from my socks project this week. I'm going to be knitting Grace by Jane Richmond, which is a cardigan pattern. Let me pull up the photo. It is a fingering weight cardigan, and it's mostly stockinette, but there is just a tiny bit of lace in the yoke. I can't find a big photo, so here's the little one. So it's got this lace pattern here, and then it's not super fitted, but it's not oversized. I would say it's more fitted than it is baggy. So I've knit my swatch, which I will show you here. So I had to go up a needle size from what the pattern called for. I'm using a size 5 needle, and I bought a needle for this. This was another, I went to Fiberspace twice in the past couple weeks to buy needles. This is an Addi Turbo size 5 needle. Yeah. So I've got this nice Addi Turbo 60-inch cable, and this yarn is Miss Babs Kira, which is a 100% superwash merino 560 yard skein, so it's quite generous, and it's the colorway Oyster, which is this lovely slightly speckly gray, slightly mottled. It's kind of wrinkled from being in my bag, but it was nice and flat. I washed it and blocked it, measured it both before and after, and so here here's some yarn in the cake, and I've wound up 2 of these. I have 4 skeins, and I've wound up 2 of them so far. Yeah, so here's the Kira. It's heavy fingering weight. I would say it's not a sport weight. It's a solid fingering weight, and yeah, 100% superwash merino, no nylon. So it's a very good sweater yarn. It's got a great twist. Love the fabric that this knit up. So I am going to cast this on tomorrow when I'm not at my knitting class with Susan B. Anderson. And by the way, if you've been here with me for a while at the Knit Shift, you will remember I took a class from Susan probably 2 to 3 years ago. My friend Lennis and I drove up from Norfolk to Fiberspace, and we each took the shawl design class. And then I also took a doll class in the afternoon, which I still haven't finished that doll. But now that I have a niece, I will try and finish it eventually. So it was a tremendous class. Susan is a wonderful teacher. I've taken classes from a couple other people. I've taken a class from Wendy Johnson, and that was great. I also took a class from another designer who is not an especially huge name, but it was awful. It was really, really crappy, and it was at my old local yarn shop in Virginia Beach, and there were too many people. So I'm a little wary of knitting classes, but Susan was such a good teacher the first 2 times around that I was like, sign me up for Smooth Operator. I am so there for that. Also, you might remember, I just adore Susan B. Anderson. I knit her a pair of socks last time, which is super weird, but I just adore her, and I knit socks for people that I like, and she was super touched and lovely about it, and she might have even mentioned it on her podcast briefly. I can't remember. So, so hopefully, I'm sure she won't remember me, but if I say, hey, I'm the weirdo that knit you a pair of socks a few years ago, I bet she'll remember me then, so we'll see. So that is what I've been up to. I'm super stoked to get this cardigan started. It's a raglan style, which is the only kind of sweater I've knit. I've knit myself 1 pullover and 2 cardigans that are just kind of barely cover the shoulders. They don't come over the bust. So this is gonna be a lot of work. Like, I'm fully aware of that, but if I can just knit, I'd be happy if I knit the majority of the body in 16 days, let's be honest. I'm not selling myself short. I'm not, down on myself. I'm just realistic because I'm a plus size woman who works a full-time job. I don't have kids or much else to distract me outside of work. You know, I go to the gym, I keep the house tidy, but yeah, so we'll see if I get it done. My phone is ringing, give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. The alarm for the laundry went off, so I retrieved the laundry, and the groomers called to confirm Gracie's haircut tomorrow. So I just had to stop the video in the middle of everything. So we'll see where I am in 2 weeks' time on this sweater. I'm excited to show you guys. And with that, we will do a little bit of personal chat, life chat, whatever the heck you want to call it. And we'll conclude with lipstick chat, which, you know, lipstick of the week, hooray! So, like I said, I had a stomach bug last week. I ate a chicken sandwich from my favorite restaurant near my office on Monday night, a week ago, like 10 days ago. Didn't feel great as I ate it, tasted a little bit weird, and ended up getting really sick. Worked from home on State of the Union night, Tuesday the 30th, or the 30th, yeah, I think it was the 30th. Worked from home Tuesday, Wednesday, ended up having to call off sick Thursday. I was miserably sick, like classic food poisoning symptoms. And so Thursday morning, I mean, I didn't eat. I tried to drink ginger ale and Sprite and have a couple saltines eventually. It was pretty rough. So I went to the urgent care and got fluids on Thursday morning. And Thursday morning, I kind of woke up, my face was really swollen and pink, and like I had trouble breathing, like my chest felt heavy. So I didn't think too much of it, and I mentioned it at urgent care, but it didn't seem to be a huge priority, and the chest pain kind of went away a little bit. So I got 2 bags of fluids through IV. I was super dehydrated. They did blood work, all that kind of stuff, and the symptoms pointed to classic food poisoning. It wasn't the flu, anything like that. I didn't have an infection, stuff like that. So later Thursday afternoon, the chest pain returned and it just felt really heavy. So I asked my friend who had offered, she said, just say the word and I'll drop everything and I'll help you if you need something. I phoned my friend, basically I did the old phone a friend technique, except I texted her and said, do you think you could take me to the ER? I'm having trouble breathing. And like, God love her, she was a saint, my buddy Elspeth, and dropped everything, picked up her kid at daycare, drove me to the ER. I mean, I felt so bad that I made her and her toddler come to the ER in flu season, and I kept saying, you can go, you can go. And Josh did meet us there. So once I got settled in a room, she and her son took off. Thank goodness. I didn't want them getting sick, you know, on my account. So I had an EKG and a CAT scan, and they did all this stuff to rule out the source of the chest pain. And I got Benadryl, and that helped a ton. The swelling went down, my face went down, the breathing eased up. And they think my body was just so out of whack from having the food poisoning that it just released a bunch of histamine, which caused an allergic type reaction. and that was that. So yeah, I am thrilled to be on the mend and eating real food again. Like I said, my birthday is on this coming Sunday, and Josh and I have plans to go out to a Brazilian steakhouse. His birthday was a week ago, mine is this coming Sunday, so we're kind of gonna celebrate our birthdays together, and being able to do all you can meet will be a big celebration for us. So I'm super excited about it. There's a really nice restaurant in downtown DC. And I'm also having a couple friends over this coming weekend just to kind of, it's not a birthday party by any means, because I want them to wear sweatpants and we'll just hang around and knit, which will be really fun. And probably we're gonna order Indian food, and I ordered myself a cookie cake. I love cookie cake so much. I ordered a cookie cake at the grocery store, so I'm gonna pick that up in a little bit, in a few days. So yeah, I'm just really excited. My birthday last year was kind of crappy because I was dealing with this back injury. So I feel very determined to make this birthday a good one, you know. Nothing, I don't love, my family would tell you I don't want to be sung to. I don't want to have all the waiters at a restaurant come over and sing to me. That's my idea of hell. But I'm just looking forward to spending time with the people I care about and going out for a really nice meal with my sweetie. So yeah, that's that. So, oh, and I'm turning 35. I don't mind sharing that. I'm never gonna be someone who's like, oh, I'm 29 for the 8th time, ha ha ha. No, I'm happy to own my age and, you know, the years I've lived. So I will be 35, which I'm pretty excited about. So that brings us to lipstick chat. I had a gift card to Sephora that I received for Christmas from Josh. And I had been waiting to use it, just hadn't made it to a local Sephora, thought about ordering online, but you know, online ordering I reserve for like my hair care products, stuff that I know and have used before. I don't want to just, I'll order makeup sight unseen, but it just felt like I was ready to go for a walk around the store. So that's what I did. There is one at Pentagon City Mall, so I was able to take the train there on my way to work one day this week. And I got a skincare product that I am really excited about, and I won't bore you with the details today necessarily, but I also picked up 2 lipsticks to meet the minimum for the gift card. And Sephora had this new line of lipsticks called Lip Stories, and they're in these little paper tubes with these cute drawings on them. Like this one has a beach scene. There we go. And this is the color Spring Break. And I just wanted a couple more options for nice neutral lipsticks for work. This is very close to my actual lip color. Just a nice neutral kind of pinky brown. So yeah, I like that it's a cream. It's not matte or anything. And then I got the one that was next to it on the row. Like this is the one I really wanted, Spring Break, pardon me. And then kind of on a whim, I picked up the one next to it thinking it's a shade darker. Let's see how I feel about it. And I love it even more. It's the one I'm wearing right now. And this is Matinee. So it's got this fun little drive-in movie icon here. And the lid is caving in, great. That's the thing about these paper cases, is they're not super sturdy. I just touched it. There. And so this is what I'm wearing now, and it's definitely a darker kind of pinky brown color. And it's what I'm wearing now. I'll put on a little bit more. And it smells really nice. It does not last well at all, which is about what you would expect for an $8 lipstick, but I really like the color. I think it complements my skin and my eyes quite nicely. So for $8 a lipstick, you know, if you're at the mall, you can't do much better than that price-wise. So yeah. So those are my 2 lipstick purchases this week. So with that, I think I'm gonna sign off here, you guys. Thank you for hanging in there while I was out sick for much of last week and had to delay my recording. I'm very happy as always to be back and chatting with you. And until next time, happy knitting, happy making all the things, and I'll see you soon. Bye.